Moro moro, and welcome back to Culinary Roleplaying and into the start of a new series called Solo One-Shots. In this series, I'm planning to take a tabletop role-playing game and have a concise, short, solo one-shot adventure with that system. So we are going to have an individual adventure that will last around 1 to 3 episodes. Really concise and overarching stories where I will use different game systems per each one shot, so you guys can have like a full concise story arc and also see how different kinds of games play solo. So yeah, we're not gonna dabble on the rules too much. I'm just probably going to introduce one or few extra mechanics that I might have in each system, but other than that, we are just gonna jump right into the adventure and see how it goes. And I have decided whenever we are gonna play a fantasy game in solo one-shot adventures, we are gonna have those fantasy adventures in the world of Dawncross. If you have subscribed to my channel, you're probably familiar with my Mythic GM Emulator tutorial series. In that series, we have an overarching story that focuses on this kind of northern island called Glorfinland. Dawncross will be on that same world. Dawncross is a little bit more located into the east of Glorfinland, and it is this huge island archipelago area. But unlike Glorfinland, Dawncross has been on this political turmoil for the past century even. They even have this saying in Dawncross that they have a 5-year rulership, and that only means that 5 years is usually the longest time any ruler can stay alive. Whatever the title the ruler has had, there has been kings, there has been tyrants, there has been councils, whatever title and how many leaders have been sitting on the throne or has been in the leadership of Dawncross, none has been able to fully unite the archipelago completely. Every big nobility, every big aristocrat, every big merchant are out there to try to get each other. And that has resulted for Dawncross to being a very lawless country in that kind of sense. So yeah, every city, every town is kind of on their own. Gods are easily corrupted and usually not there to protect the common interest. But that's why there has been a dire need for different kinds of adventurers, guardians, specialists who are able to protect the people, who are able to deal with different problems, who are able to assist common people in need. They are called the Black Wardens. And throughout solo one-shots, we are probably going to have different stories from different Black Wardens on different situations using different rule systems. And today we are looking into the story of Gordon. Gordon is our first Black Warden to be on the main character's seat in this one-shot adventure. So let us see where this one-shot will take us. And for this first one-shots system, we are going to use, I would want to say 5e, because I'm basically using like greatest hits from different 5th edition supplements. For example, I'm using a class from Ruins of Symbaroum 5th edition. I have taken some inspiration also from Lord of the Rings 5th edition source book. So yeah, I'm like smashing all the best rules I have found on different 5e source books. And why I wanted to use 5e system for this first one is because I also wanted to try out my own 5e solo adventure rule set. So I created these additional rules for people who want to play 5th edition solo as a lone character, and it can be quite difficult at first. So I have created these extra rules that will especially help out in combat and to create your character at first to be a little bit more suited for take on like multiple enemies and just like bump up the survivability a little bit, that you are able to have the lone character adventure. I have written the rules on itch.io. It's pay what you want. You can find a link down below. So if you want to check the rules out, you can. And in addition to that, we will use also a very simple narrative rule. So usually when you make a skill check in 5th edition is that you will roll a d20 at your modifiers, proficiency if you are proficient with the skill, and then you either fail or succeed. Well, in solo that's not like very exciting all of the time, so I'm using a narrative type of check. So I'm rolling 2 d20, which are a black one and a not black one. Like I have positive die and negative die. So how it works, whenever I do a skill check, we could do maybe a survival check, and let's have a base of DC 15. So we have wisdom of 16, that's +3, and then we have survival proficient, so it's +5. Then we will roll the dice, and okay, this is a perfect example. So I got 11 and 2, so that means one of them succeeded. So we have 4 levels that we can have. If the both dice are over the DC, that's perfect success, so everything goes exactly as you want. Then there is yes but, which comes when the positive die succeeds but the negative die fails. That means that yes, you will succeed, but there is some kind of twist that might make other things more difficult, or you might need to sacrifice some resources or something to make it fully a success. Then there is no but, and that comes when the negative die is over the DC, but the positive die is a failure, like we did just now. And that means you will fail in that task, but there's some positive thing that comes out of it. And then there is the full failure. So the both dice will fail the DC, and then it's just like that will basically halt the flow, and it's like you come across a wall and you have to think something else. So yeah, much more varied than just rolling 1 d20, much more exciting. And with advantage and disadvantage, with advantage you have 2 positive dice, and with disadvantage you have 2 negative dice, and it works exactly the same. So when you roll 2 negative dice disadvantage, you take the lower result, and when you roll with advantage you have 2 positive die and you take the bigger one. So yeah, not that complicated, but it already gives you a lot of more variation to the rolls. I will give you a quick tour also into my character so you can get the idea of what we are dealing with. So we are playing an Iron Sworn hunter from Ruins of Symbaroum sourcebook, which means it's basically like a ranger, but a better one. With my custom rules, as level 1 character, you have hit points of full hit dice, twice your proficiency, and your constitution minimum of 1. So that means, because we have constitution of 2, we have 14 hit points to start with. In addition to that, you will get an extra feat from level 1, and that is lucky feat. Use that wisely, that will keep you alive. And finally, we have a legendary hero ability, which is basically in combat we have 1 legendary action that we can take, and that can be either action, bonus action, or movement. Works exactly the same way like it works with legendary creatures. So we can take the legendary action at the end of anyone's turn. And then we have 2 abilities of being an Iron Sworn hunter. Agile combat. Your armor class when you wear no armor is equal to 10 plus twice your dexterity modifier, which means our armor class is 18. That's crazy, that's good. And then we also have a wilderness explorer. Beginning at 1st level, you are adept at preparing and securing campsites in the wilderness so that some of your party can gain additional benefits during a long rest. So rests are a little bit different in Symbaroum, and I'm using those. So when we are not in a safe haven place and have full 24 hours, long rest is not the same as just getting everything. Long rest means that we will only receive a full hit die amount of HP plus our constitution. So spending 8 hours in a forest taking a long rest would mean that we will only gain 8 plus 2, so 10 hit points. And of course, short rest, you can use your hit dice as normal, like you would in any other 5th edition game. But you can also use hit dice to recover from corruption. We are not probably going to use corruption in this one shot, but I just wanted to throw that out there. And finally, as an oracle, we will use Blood Unfolding Machine from Jason Wars. And I'm not going to dive too deep into it right now. I'm just going to use it and just softly explain what I'm doing while I'm doing it. But leave comment down below if you want me to make a full overview of this oracle. And we are especially going to use Blood Unfolding Machine's blood point system, which means that we start with 3 blood points, and whenever a scene brings us closer to the conclusion, we will add blood points into the score. When the score becomes 10, it means that we will be in the final confrontation, or we will be in the final scene of the adventure. And that will determine how long this one shot will last. And our one shot adventure for Gordon is hunt down a feral wolf in far forest. The story begins in the western side of Dawncross. From a small town, Far Landing. It is the perfect border between the coastal side and also the far forest that spreads into the south of the archipelago. While the town is not rich with different minerals and different exotic spices, because this is a northern hemisphere after all, but they take great pride in their fish and also their forestry. But for a few weeks now, Far Landing, and especially all the people who rely their livelihood on the wood, have been in a bigger turmoil. The rising uneasiness from the south of Dawncross has been catching up onto the Far Landing as well. The constant conflicts between different parties on the southern areas, and especially within the city of Melaya, have also left beasts and animals of the region unease, because war campaigns require a lot of food as well. So the hunters of Melaya has been doing some overtime. This has left some of the beasts in the forest a lack of prey. And now there has been wolf going full on feral, and it has found a whole new prey altogether. And that prey has been the citizens of Far Landing. So now a few elders have come together and are going into the local tavern of Far Landing. They are looking for a black warden who has been said to take a momentary shelter within the tavern. This individual has been living in the tavern for around a month now, taking some odd jobs, whoever has had the money, and that individual is Gordon. The elders enter the tavern. Small smell of sweat and few swear words can be heard in the echoes of this drinking hall. But especially in this northern hemisphere and this kind of misty evening, the fire within is very inviting as well. The elders take a few steps in and are greeted by townsfolk. It's quite a small town, so more or less everyone knows who everyone is. And they can also see a dark figure in a corner, hood on. Aragorn from Lord of the Rings style, smoking a pipe and just minding his own business. Gordon can see these two new individuals coming in. Their eyes meet. Gordon can see that the elders are speaking something to each other, like whispering, and then they are approaching. Gordon seems still relaxed, but at least he has the courtesy to take his legs off the table. One of the elders asks, "You Gordon? What if I would have a job for you if you're interested. I got some money." "What's the job and how much?" "You have probably heard about the feral wolf that has been preying on the townfolk in this past few weeks. When we have been trying everything, we have placing some traps and tried to make some ambushes, but that bastard is a sneaky one." "Yeah, sounds like a hard job. Yeah, but I think it wouldn't be even a problem at all, like a professional black warden as yourself, so what do you say, are you interested? Maybe. How much we're talking about? How much are we talking about? I will throw a 2D. I will just use silver, like in this world, like there is no gold. Everyone uses silver. So, of course there is gold, but like there is not that much gold that it would be used as a money. It's like crazy expensive. So they have like this kind of blend. Even silver is like quite valuable, but they have 1 + 1, so they have 10 silver with them, and they throw this small bag with 10 silver. How does 10 silver sound like to you? Well, if I'm honest with you, it ain't much. I know, but that's all we can muster right now. Could you at least try to track the beast with that price? And Gordon slowly pulls the money from the table, puts it in his pocket, and just empties the pipe onto the table and leaves 3 silver pieces for the tavern keeper. I'll tell you when it's done. Now, if you excuse me. And Gordon takes off, and he has accepted this mission. It doesn't pay much, but it will definitely be something at least. Gordon has accepted the quest to slay the feral wolf of the far forest. And I think Gordon will just pack his things, prepare his bow, his sword, take some rations, and just head out into the forest. And this is probably our first official scene. So we can now make a first roll with the blood unfolding machine. And we can make an expectation checker. That will say, will the next thing happen as expected? And what I'm expecting to happen to next is that Gordon will venture into the forest and he will start to track down the wolf. So let's roll a d10 and see if things go as planned. 6. It happens as expected. So Gordon moves deeper into the forest, first following the forest road that will also lead into the southern parts and even to the Malaya itself. And I think he has heard some rumors that the attacks also have been happening on the road as well. So he thinks it's only natural to first follow the road, even just a little bit. And from time to time he tries to inspect different spots that seemed like there might have been some kind of conflict or sudden stop with different individuals who have been using this road. And he is also keeping watch and tries to see possible signs of feral wolf. So we can actually make our first check, which is definitely a survival check, because we are trying to track down a prey. I don't think we have any extra thing for this. So we will just make a regular survival roll. Usually I will use a base DC of 15 for everything. If there is some aspects that make it, like some things that I might consider that makes it easier, I will lower the DC. And if there are some additional aspects that will make it even more difficult, then I will make the DC higher. And of course, if there is some major advantage or major disadvantage, you get an advantage and disadvantage, yes. But for now, I think it's just regular 15. We'll take our 2 d20s and see what the result is. Here we go. The black die is 12, which means the final result is 17. And then we have 8, which means the final result is 13, which is not enough. And now when the black die was bigger, it means no but. So what is the but in this instance? So Gordon uses a good amount of time within the road. For now there's not seem to be any clear details of any wolf tracks or any possible feces of wolves or any like fur that has been stuck on the trees. There's really not any trace of wolves. But I am interested in that but. We can actually ask what from Blood Unfolding Machine. What is the but? So here we have tens and ones. Tens is the type and ones is the subject. 7, 7, they are both the same. So, dangerous business. I know why he don't find any wolves. Because he doesn't have time. When he's walking down the road and he's trying to find the wolf tracks, he sees something else. From the woods emerge two figures that come to the road. And they seem to be really this kind of ruffian people. One of them is basically like smacking a baton to their hand. It seems to be some kind of club or something like that. And the other one is basically like spinning a knife. And the other ruffian has a smirk on his face and he calls for Gordon. Traveling alone, eh? Unfortunately, there is a toll to be paid. Hopefully you're good for it. Huh. That's funny. I don't remember there to be any toll last time I walked here. Are you sure you're not mistaken? Well, that's a mighty strong words for someone being outnumbered. And I think Gordon will slowly pull his bow. As far as I can see, you're the ones on disadvantage in here. Hopefully you're a fast runner. Are there more than only these two? I think let's roll a d10 and ask yes or no. Oh, we have to roll 2d10. Okay. So again, the ones is the d10 on the side and the tens is the even odds. So let's see, are there even more? 5. No, there are no more gods, so they only these two. Obviously. Okay. So no, obviously. Okay, that must mean Gordon knows these two. These are basically, I think these are like two of the town's like known bullies, and they are usually they are up to no good, but until now they haven't done any too. They have been in a fights and that all that kind of stuff, but nothing like too major or nothing too serious. So yeah, I would say this intimidation that Gordon just did is quite effective to these guys. I think they might know Gordon as well. Let's just make a charisma check. Intimidation check to see will they back down. Now I will say the DC is only 12 because these are not like these are not really intimidating individuals. And I even throw in an advantage for Gordon because he is unsheathing his bow and there is a little bit distance between them. And I think the other one says to to this other sleazy looking ruffian like, I don't know, boss, he's gonna ride. He kind of jumped in a little bit too early in here. He's got quite a long distance and he has a bow as well, so. And we only have these gloves. Don't tell him. No, we have surrounded you. This whole area is teeming with criminals, so you better give your money. Okay, I can work with those odds. He readies his bow. Let's make an intimidation check with advantage and DC 12. Whoa, that is not still much. We take the 10 from the positive dice. Positive dice is bigger. It's 10 versus and 9 is the negative one. But they are not enough actually. I just realized because we have no intimidation at all. Yeah, and it was DC. We fail. We completely fail. So now the scent of alcohol from the wind reaches to Gordon and he realizes these both are quite intoxicated. And it seems like there might be a chance that they cannot be dealt with normal means. And the other ruffians just said, "No, we can get him. Just run, and go zigzag. Just go zigzag and run. We can get it. We can get it." And they both just start to basically like run this crisscross, and they are trying to approach Gordon. Oh God, what will Gordon do? I don't think Gordon will give two bricks about them, but he tries to shoot the other ruffian, the one that he sees that is the more in charge, more or less, and tries to like make an example out of him and shoot him in the leg. And I would say I don't think they have any like real armor on, so the average DC would be kind of like 8 plus dexterity, right? But it's harder to hit a leg, so I would just say let's make a regular bow shot using the basic attack, and it will be DC 12 to hit, exactly to the leg. Let's see how it goes. 15 plus 6, 21. Yeah, Gordon will just take a deep sigh. I really hoped it wouldn't come to this. Releases the arrow. and the other ruffian just completely just smash himself to the ground. And the other ruffian is like, "Oh, boss, are you alright?" Like, it hurts so bad. Gordon will just take a deep sigh, put his bow back on, and closes in these two. And when he's closing in, the whiny one is on the floor and is like, "Please no! Don't kill us! I'm sorry! We didn't mean anything by it!" Let's remove one arrow. Yeah, wonderful. Do we have even... I don't think we have first aid kit. We have a mask, tinderbox, torches. We have rope. Okay. Gordon will just walk next to these two, and the other one will just like back off. Gordon will just casually take the arrow, cut it in the middle, "It hurts!" with his sword, and just pulls the arrow out from both sides cleanly and tries to not disturb the wound too much. Then he gets closer to the other guy, and the guy's like, whoa, hey, whoa, I'm sorry. And he takes his sword and slashes a cut from his, basically like this kind of leather vest. And he goes back to the first guy who is whining on the ground, puts the leather on top of the wound and just say, "Hold it here." And he's like, "Oh yes, okay." Takes some of his rope and just wraps it around and makes it really tight, and then cuts part of the rope. I would say, let's say, I think 10 feet is more than enough, right? But let's just say, let's be generous and let's say 10 feet. And he just says to these two, "There, now you don't bleed out. Now your friend can carry you home. Don't cause any trouble, or I will be back here." "I promise we won't. I'm sorry. I didn't mean anything by it." Gordon will just keep on going. And that is definitely a scene over. When it comes to plot points, I will say it's like plus minus 0. It really didn't move the narrative forward at all. So let's just jump into the next scene. Again, let's roll to see if it goes as planned, like that last scene happened. 2. There's a complication. Let's roll a complication. We can roll a challenge. Let's roll a challenge. 20. Confronting or fighting might be a way out. So we go from fight to another. It is a complication. Might it be because we were so noisy and this like took so much focus from Gordon that we actually will get ambushed by the wolf in this moment and the hunter becomes the hunted. Yeah, I like that. Let's go with that. So Gordon is going down with the road, and it doesn't take much time. He's still fresh on the whole episode with these two ruffians, so he's still like very focused on that. He just set those two off, and he's just now starting to refocus on his mission And just before that, the wolf, we can see, the viewers, that the wolf is closing in and trying to take an upper hand against Gordon. We will make just a perception check to see if Gordon can notice this happening. And because this is a complication, I'm not giving a disadvantage on this, but I will definitely bump up the DC to 17. Let's say it's DC 17. So we will amp it up by 2, just because Gordon is definitely distracted in this moment. So let's roll the narrative dice again. Yes, I could do a opposing roll with the wolf, but I think this is more interesting. I want to use the narrative dice even more. Here we go. DC 17, using perception. The negative dice again is the bigger one. The positive dice is 2, so that definitely will fail. But negative die is 13 plus 5, so it is exactly 18. We will fail, but there is a positive side. I think the positive side for this is the wolf is closing in. It's getting closer and closer to the side of the road, where Gordon is just taking a deep sigh, and he's starting to raise his awareness when he can hear branch snaps right next to him, where he can see these two yellow glowing eyes from the bush. And it seems to be this kind of, it doesn't seem to be a wolf at all. It is some kind of corrupted monstrosity that leaps from the shadows. But Gordon was lucky enough to hear the branch, so he had a millisecond of time to prepare himself. So he has a chance to make a dexterity saving throw and try to dodge out of the way of this bouncing attack. And if he fails, he will be prone and he will take a free attack from this monster. So let's just say it's a DC 15 again. So what is the attack roll of this creature? It's +4. Oh, it has actually a DC of 11 strength saving throw or be knocked prone. So we can use actually this strength saving throw. But this first time it will be a dexterity saving throw, just because it is now Gordon trying to jump out of the way. But we can use this DC here, because that seems to be like the DC for the creature. So let's make a dexterity saving throw for Gordon. We are proficient with that, thankfully, and dexterity is our best asset, so we get +6 to this roll. Here we go. 5. But you know what? I think this is the moment I will use our first luck point. This is why we have luck points as a solo player, so we have better chances to circumvent some unfortunate circumstances. So first luck point, we'll roll again. That is 14 plus 6 is 20, more than enough to deal with the situation. Oh, we had to burn a luck point, but I think that was totally worth it. So the wolf leaps from the shadows and tries to take a bite out of Gordon. But Gordon, just in the nick of time, is able to leap and take a huge jump back and jump out of the way this wolf's big maw, or this wolf. The creature looks like this. It is this corrupted beast with these weird horns coming out of its back, and it has these husks that will twist and turn, and they even look like live tendrils. It is this creature of corruption. It seems like something that it shouldn't be here. And with confusion, Gordon says out loud, "What are you?" And he takes his sword and is ready to fight. And we just roll initiative. The initiative is a little bit different in my custom rules. When it's 1-on-1, it doesn't really matter, but if it would be multiple characters with both parties, only the hero and only the character with the best initiative would roll the dice. So let's use a positive and negative dice. Negative is for the enemy, positive is for Gordon. Gordon has dexterity of 4, so our initiative is +4. And this wolf's dexterity is +2. We got an 8, +4 is 12, and the wolf got 3 + 2, 5, so we will go first in this battle. So Gordon starts first, and I think they are probably like 10 feet away of each other. This wolf, this creature, jumped right at Gordon. Gordon takes a leap back, and this creature also takes a little leap back, so they are facing each other. And Gordon took his sword. I don't think he feels comfortable right now to try to even take his bow. So he just tries to use this moment. I think he will hold his action and he will try to swipe when the creature gets in range. That is his turn. His action is to hold the action. And at the end of his action, we also have a legendary action that we can take. We could take it any creatures at the end of any creature's turn, but we will take it right after his own turn, and we will use it to take a dodge action. So he's also tries to move himself into more advantageous position and is ready to dodge any attacks that the creature might take against him. And now I'm interested about the creature's intelligence. Will it try to just fight openly? It has intelligence of 3, but this is like a base wolf stat. So let's ask the Oracle, how intelligent is this? Because this is a corrupted beast. It's not a wolf. Let's ask from the yes, no. And I think it's 50-50 odds that this is a creature with a more intelligent mind. So even odds. 10s again with the even and 1s with the d10. 7. Yes, it is an intelligent beast. 10. Obviously. Okay, so it's obviously very intelligent being. So it is a creature with a plan. So in this moment, I think Gordon will be surprised to see that this wolf, this creature, smiles at him. This creature takes a grin, like, which looks really unnerving to Gordon. And the creature just jumps to the side of the road and just books into the forest. It is wise enough to know that on an open space might not be as effective to fight against Gordon. So it tries to lure Gordon side into its own terrain and make possibly another surprise attack. And Gordon's like, oh damn! And he starts to run after this wolf or this corrupted beast. I think it's evening still. We didn't travel that far, but it starts to be quite dark. And especially on a misty evening in a dense forest, it is dark as it's really dark. Believe me, from Finland, misty forest at evening, it's really freaking dark. So Gordon will also take a torch from his back, quickly lights it, just starts to go after the wolf. Okay, I think for now let's end that scene over there. We will definitely take 2 blood points because that went exactly towards end of the quest. Let's play one more scene and then we can leave the finale of this one shot to the next part. Or Gordon just could be completely wasted, so we don't have to play anymore, but let's see what happens. So Gordon is going after the wolf. I shouldn't probably say it's a wolf anymore, but anyway, you know what I mean. Let's do one more time. Expectation checker. Does everything go as expected? And I'm expecting that Gordon will go deeper into the forest and find some leads that will take him closer to the wolf. 8. Happens as expected. Okay. So it means Gordon is chasing after this corrupted beast deep within the woods. He is familiar with these woods. He has been here a few months and he's been scouting, but it is quite dark. But we definitely need to make another survival check to see how well this is going for him. Or would this be even athletics check? Let's make this a skill challenge. And we will use the narrative dice, but if I get a partial success, so only the positive one is bigger, then I need to use some resources or do some extra check in order to completely get the success. But if only the negative one succeeds, we will get 1 failure from that skill challenge, but we will get an advantage on the next roll because something positive comes out of it. Okay, and we have to use different kinds of skills. So let's first just make a strength athletics check to see how well Gordon is able to keep the pace with this corrupted beast. So this is only +3 for us, not that good, but let's see how well it goes. Again, the DC is the base 15. Oh, that is complete failure from both ends. Yeah, 11 + 3 is 14 and 10 + 3 is 13. This was a complete first failure. Don't worry, these are these are not fatal right now. These are just me checking those successes and failures in the skill check. And I would say we have to do some kind of save in addition, because this was a complete failure. We have to do some kind of maneuver or save. I think we have to do a dexterity saving throw. Like, he's trying to keep up with this creature, but the creature is fast and it's its own terrain. It's just jumping from root to another, and Gordon can barely see the creature anymore. He's so focused on trying to reach the creature that a root gets stuck on his feet and he's almost completely tumbling down unless he can save himself from this tumble. Dexterity saving throw. DC 15. 8 + 6 is 14. That is not enough. I will say we take 1 3D bludgeoning damage, and yeah, we have lost the side of the wolf now. 5, so that means 3 bludgeoning damage to us right now. So Gordon is picking himself up, and he is trying to see where any signs where this creature would be. He tries to calm down and calm his breathing. He's trying to perceive with his sensitive hunter hearing that where this creature might be. Let's try another challenge using perception. Same DC 15. Here we go. These are both really bad. Actually, no! We just succeeded. Black one is 2, the positive one is 10 + 5 is exactly 15, so we succeed. But there is a negative aspect to it. And I will say it is the fact that Gordon had to stop completely to get the beat. Small sounds of the forest, and then he gets the pulse where the creature is going. But he had to slow down and stop for a second. So we get a success, but the next challenge will be DC 18 because the creature is now farther away, so it will be more difficult to keep up with the creature. So 1 success, but the DC will be, yeah, let's say 18. 3 higher. What is the next move? I think the next move is to make a survival check. Now it's all about if Gordon can still track this creature. He has now seen the tracks the creature leaves behind, but it is quite dark in the forest and the creature is getting farther away, so it is still DC 18. But we are proficient with survival, so it is +5 for us at least. Let's see how well this will go for us. Not good! 5 and 4. Now I will use our another luck point, because we need to get at least partial success for this. Another luck point spent, but we need it right now. Let's go. Oh, that is much better! 20 from the dark dice and 15 from the light dice, which means a complete success. So Gordon finds his pacing. He is able to gain some ground with the wolf. Actually, he finds some good roads between the trees. He's able to jump from root to root and not get tangled with them, and he's able to gain some ground, and he can even just see a glimpse of the creature going over some hills, but he is gaining on the creature again. So we can now again lower the DC to 15. I think the final test will be a stealth check. Gordon tries to drop the torch and utilize the small amount of light the location has in order for him to try to blend into the environment, and he tries to hide himself from the creature when he has finally found it. So let's make a stealth roll for this, hopefully the final skill roll. Here goes stealth, +6, +6. And that is, it was 15. The positive dice is 11, so that means 17. And the negative dice is 8, so that is 14. That is not enough. So it means we succeed, we complete the skill challenge, but there is some kind of negative aspect. And I know what it is. He's able to gain speed and he's able to find the creature. But when he runs over the hill where he saw the creature to vanish, he gets greeted by this dark, ominous looking cave. And this creature is nowhere to be seen, but he can clearly see that the tracks lead inside the cave. I was hoping I wouldn't have to fight it inside its territory, but it seems like I have to now. And he takes another torch from his back. So we have now used 2 torches. He takes a zip of his water skin, pulls his torch, and also takes out his sword. Well, job is a job. And he continues going deeper into the tunnel. And that is definitely another 2 points, because that was major. So we are at 7. And now, when diving deeper into this tunnel, we will leave Gordon for now. This first part of Solo one-shots. Thank you for watching this first part. The second part will come out really soon after this one. Hopefully I can see you there as well. Please leave a like and leave a comment down below. After we have concluded this solo one-shot story, what system would you want to see a solo game in? Thank you for my community for giving me the push to make this series. I'm really enjoying this so far. I really like that we could just jump right in and do some adventuring together. But that's all from me for now. It's moro moro, and I hope I see you next time.